By the way, I was watching the show Last Man on Earth. It's like 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite amusing.
I've only watched the first season of that one.
He's a funny guy. Funny shit happens.
All right, we need at least one encounter. Damn it.
We're back up again.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, in the very safe and well patrolled area of the Duchy of Aid, let's do one more percentile. 22.
So that's
It's
7 D5s.
more than 20. More than 20.
That's 7
Very
D5s
safe.
where we've
Well, there's 7 D5s, and some of them would be D3s, right?
right. Yep.
And we never rolled 1 on any of those.
Yep.
It's
And
beautiful
Marty, your face is turning red. What's going on? Fuck.
Well, there's that whole. But that was. So this
I
is
didn't prep the
where
city.
It's like, well, I'm going to make them make a bunch of random encounter rolls, and then there'll be a random encounter, and then we'll do a random encounter, and then we'll get some treasure rolled up, and then I will go to bed. Like, my DM prep is a random encounter. You know?
That's fine. We could continue. I do have a map for
Oh,
Vaddapol. I do need to switch the
There's
maps.
a bridge, and you have to go around a couple of hexes.
Roll an encounter on the bridge.
Roll
No,
3 times,
let's
bitches.
bring you to the city of Vaddapol. Vaddapol is a small city. It's not a teeming metropolis. The city along the Road of Sorrow boasts its own arena called the Vaddapol Civic Arena. While not as prestigious as the Tri-Coliseum of Vin Vossa, the Vaddapol Civic Arena boasts as the training ground for many up-and-coming gladiators. There are... it is a defensible city with city walls along a strategic location. It does have a port. Its overlord is the Duke. About half the people in the town are human.
Half.
And
What's the other half?
other.
Not human.
It's about 55 to 45%.
That's a
Yes, it is
big number.
It is a big number, but it's also not a very strong majority. The purchase limit is 30,000. The base value is 4,800, and spellcasting is up to 6th. It is an important route.
Cool.
It is an important trade port along the route between basically across the continent, and it is a place where many gladiators that become famous originally hailed. Inside Vaddapol, there are some gladiatorial ludi that are not the same as the ones that are in the capital city. And where are these things? NPCs, Vaddapol.
Sorry.
Gazetteer, maybe? Yeah, stables great and small. The minor stables of Vaddapol include the Grand Order of the Fallen Monastic Traditions. They're also called the Fallen. They're a factious group of monks of old religions that united under one banner and spend more time fighting each other than they do other places. 2 of the known schools are the Brotherhood of Dissolution and the Order of Divine Light. Basically, you've got a bunch of battling monk schools that are in the city. The Knights of Vaddapol are another minor stable. They are local knights, local toughs and minor nobility that seek honor and glory and coin in the arena. While none of them carry the official title of knight under the Imperium, they often ceremonially present themselves as knightly sorts, romanticizing the time before the Imperial conquest. The civilized house of the Grim Goblin. They're affiliated with the Ebon Shroud, and the House of the Grim Goblin is a goblinoid-dominated stable. They are known for their garish, quasi-civilized presentation to the lights of the crowds. The running gag of a civilized goblin is quickly abandoned after the fighting has begun. There is a group of folks called the Broken Shield. They're a gladiatorial stable inspired by some artifact of old called the Broken Shield. There's the Sea God's Fury, a maritime tradition-backed gladiatorial stable, as well as the Guild of Beast Tamers also hails from Vaddapol themselves. You would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd be the 7th ludus here if everything goes all right. I'm going to switch maps so that we can get to what is going on in the city.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong, indeed. Map switch.
Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. This is the sound of map switch.
Cool. I like the intro to a new city. You're like, oh, what the fuck is that? They're dressed in what? They do what?
They do here?
What the fuck would you do that?
I am so happy with how that all turned out. Like, it was so
Yeah.
perfect. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Five drakes up Uranus.
Oh, I wasn't here for that. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
The traveling and
the whole everything. Oh,
it worked out well, I guess.
Ashoka. So the masters. Oh my. Mwah.
All right, I'm on the
Yeah, we
conversation.
fist bump when we get there. We fist bump like, yeah, no encounters.
Yeah. Magnus just throws his sword on the ground. Fuck this.
All right.
Did I sleep through a fight? What
Here's
happened?
Vaddapol. You end up entering via the Rhodes Bridge and into the River Market, which is a small slave market. The Duke lives in Cattle Vadaska. There is a bridge that separates this place. And you end up heading towards... Actually, there is somebody waiting for you that you recognize when you're crossing the Rhodes Bridge and paying your taxes into Vaddapol itself.
It's quite.
It is Qued.
Oh, masters. Masters.
Hello, Qued.
Magnus would be sitting in the front with the other masters this day.
Okay, as you're approaching. Let me find Qued's token.
So how long did this trip take us? Like 3 months?
A season.
Yeah, it took you a season. It is winter when you arrive in...
6 months. Yeah.
All right, so there's Qued, who meets your caravan, who is talking to him.
Ashoka.
Masters. Masters.
Hey, Glenn, how you doing?
He shirks at this.
Yeah, we made it. Look at that. Beautiful.
Sorry, I was on the city map,
Magnus.
not the conversation map.
We were
Magnus,
starting.
let's
We were
see.
starting to get worried. The snows have started. It's not a good season for travel, but you made it just in time. Did you lose anyone?
No, it was rather.
It was
Aside from some issues with some painted whores, things were uneventful.
It was actually a really pleasant journey. Far nicer than I expected.
Yes, the Empire has made Avasia quite safe, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Very impressive. We should all be grateful.
It feels like the Empire has prevented these lands from being overrun by beasts like drakes or other wild hazards of the road.
Certainly does, doesn't it? Not a bandit to be seen.
Yeah, it was great. That's sarcasm.
Don't worry, Magnus. There is plenty of opportunity for you to bloody yourself in the arena. The people here are good Imperial sorts. We are all Imperials when we cheer in the arena, are we not?
Ashoka will nod in an over-exaggerated fashion.
Now, I would like to take you to your new ludus.
Lead the way. Or get up on the cart and show us where to drive, I suppose.
The ludus is quite large, enough to expand. Although we have not had time to build all the things that you will need, there are some expenditures that require your decisions.
He's saying as your caravan is moving in.
The master will meet you at some point. I do not know when. I am not his keeper.
Nor would anyone expect you to be.
He has awarded you 100 talents to spend on gladiators and facilities.
Holy shit!
Mag's like,
Have you
just
seen
take the
the-
money and get the fuck out of here.
No, have you seen the housing
No,
prices?
he's not thinking that. Yeah.
What is this place, Vancouver? Good lord.
He expects you to train the best, to do well, to position yourself well. You are to fill your gladiatorial stable to as much as you can afford. You are to train those that are in your charge. You are to increase your own powers, for we cannot have masters who cannot control their own people.
There's a little grin on Ashoka's face, just the mention of, like, controlling people is just like, yes, my language. We speak the language of the same.
It does feel like a vast sum, and to some, yes, it is vast. It is, however, and will be spent quickly once you realize how expensive it is to keep and train the best. 4 gladiators and a special surprise have arrived ahead of you by ship. Your sea captain and his gladiators have arrived with something else the master has purchased. It is being sequestered at the moment. The Duke and other Imperials are being rather difficult. It was expected, but the gift will arrive soon. I would suggest not naming your ludus until you see what this gift is.
Very well, we shall heed your suggestion.
You have the winter to establish yourselves, hire trainers, to build up your facilities, and get ready for the games come spring.
I see.
If we are in need of your contact in the future, how is it done?
I will check in on you every second or third day. Your gladiators for now are being used as guards as such to look after what my master has purchased at great expense this surprise. One of them, however, will be waiting at your ludus. He is a savage by the name of Aka, I believe. Picked up in some tribal island to the south in the ongoing conquest.
Look how cool he is! Oh my god!
Are you in conversation?
I've seen that. No, we're looking at.
I went to the OneNote. I cheated. I'm a cheater. I cheated.
He has been
Good night.
explained. He is difficult to speak to as he does not know the Imperial tongue. He speaks some language called Tev, I believe, a local tribal tongue. He understands that you, Snake Man, are his master.
Oh my god, that is awesome. I cheated too.
Good movie.
Does he seem to respect authority?
Yes, he is. I would caution using him in a fight that was not lethal. He is yet to learn mercy.
I want to use him as my private guard because he doesn't speak the language. I just learn his language, and then he could be there for all the things because he doesn't know what the fuck, and he's fucking awesome. Worship me, I am your god, Snake Man.
But the gladiators all have to fight with a certain amount of fights per season, right?
I will free him
Yeah.
to be my own personal. It's fine.
Are you three masters ready?
Yeah, indeed we are.
It
Good.
has been a long journey, perhaps.
Let us
A
bring
day
you
to
to the
recover?
ludus, have everyone settle in, and then we will draw the blood contracts.
The what?
The blood contracts. You don't think we would give you such vast sums without some sort of assurance?
You have my contract.
Yes, this requires a new contract. You will be responsible for the funds, and should you fail, we will get the value out of you one way or another. We will not have another Prentice Pennywise incident. My master is much more cagey.
Oh. Well, seeing as we're going on to new blood contracts, I trust there'll be some actual definition of success.
This one is smart. There will be a clause to terminate the contract. Yes.
Things to discuss in the morrow.
Let us get you to your ludus.
Agreed.
I'm switching over to the Vaddapol map.
Yep.
Where do you guys want your ludus?
See that big ring on the fucking center?
That's the Civic
Right
Arena,
middle.
dude.
I'm fucking down.
We live here. Come on.
I
Well-
would like the ludus to be.
So some of the other things, there's the Vaddapol jail. There is the Monastery of Dissolution. Oh, that's right. We were playing with Mr. Cray. The Order of Divine Light is up here. Here are the heights. Here's the old, the Market of the Old Gods, where the Pantheon is. And the Towers of Faith. These three towers were converted into a massive and strange church to the Five-Faced God.
I think I want.
There
to be
are some
somewhere near-
slums. There are some slums on the outside of the gates near the docks. So the Fingers and the Bay Docks.
No, we want to be inside.
Okay.
I'm thinking somewhere south near the Fingers and the Mark of the Old Gods, somewhere in there, something like that, or that.
See, it depends. Like if because we're near the Heights, which I'm assuming is the wealthier district.
It is the wealthier district. It is also where the old people go up to this market to pray.
This is where I'm assuming this is where the sketchy shit happens.
This is where the
Sketchy shit
multitude
does
of
not
fates happen. The sketchy stuff happens probably in the
Outside the walls.
outside the walls.
Well,
However, the sketchier stuff within the walls, I think, probably happens near the Black House and the Monastery of Dissolution.
Yeah, the outsides of the town, right? Like the northern part. Yes,
Yeah.
probably
You know, the
worst part of
places that
town.
never see sunlight because the wall's too high.
huh?
I was thinking maybe we could do it here.
That works.
have-
Yeah, I'm
This
okay
area
with-
right here?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
The only thing I see with that, just as a thing, is it is very difficult for us to leave the city.
It's fucking. There's just walls everywhere.
Well, no, there's an entrance here, and there's an entrance here, and there's an entrance down here, and there's an entrance over here. Right? These are the ways out of the city.
Okay, so I'm hoping by the time we get to the point where we have to leave the city, like run for it, we will have the ability to just go over the wall.
If
Ashoka
I want
and
to smuggle
Phineas
something in and out,
But-
I would. Yeah, you know.
But it's also easier for our gladiators to leave the city. Something to consider.
It's all good.
We're gonna have Phi spell in like 2 levels anyway, dude. It's like, oh, a wall. Oh no.
All right, so pick a building,
Ah,
or
it's
I'm
20
gonna
feet
start
high.
rolling.
What the fuck? I think I like that spot personally, but whatever.
Okay, Mark, what do you want?
I want a bigger building, quite frankly.
I got this spot. Because it's open space, like that little what is it, hexagon?
You want
1,
them
2,
to
3,
train in the
4, 5.
rain, you sick animal?
What
if it's
about these
winter?
2 buildings right here?
How about the 5 buildings in that whole block?
Oh boy.
Was the courtyard in the middle? One building for
Yep.
the masters, one building for the slaves.
That works.
That's good.
That'll
an
do it.
excellent-
Down the road from the arena. All right.
That's
Yeah,
an
so-
excellent.
so
That's
I'm
an
gonna-
excellent idea. Yeah.
Gonna draw. Like,
Glad I thought of it. This was my idea.
so there's your walled compound.
Who put this fence up?
Oh, Magnus, you're so special.
Oh, your sword broke. Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, your sword broke. You broke your sword pouting. Just hitting things with your sword.
20,000 gold pieces.
All right, so you guys arrive. You guys arrive at the ludus.
Oh,
Welcome to
Ziggy,
your
what's going on?
welcome to your ludus.
Yeah.
I trust these facilities will do well for you. The large house to the south is for the masters. The veranda up there provides a good look at the training ground below. The ground has already been blessed by the old gods.
All right. Very well.
If your ludus ends up having a patron deity, all you would need to do is install the shrine over here.
Well,
There are lots of empty spaces for you to expand. Your 100 talents will go quickly.
out of
Assumed.
curiosity, the 100 talents, is that being used on this facility as well, or is that in addition to?
The facility is a lot of empty space. You will have to spend money here.
We need equipment and the appropriate furnishings, as well as manpower and influence.
And cages. We'll need cages.
House 2 houses down. This is the streams house. Okay. The streams house. Got it.
A ludist beach.
Oh, funny.
There will be many meetings in the days to come to meet those that are around. Probably the best way is to have a fight on the first day of spring. In the meantime, there are some private fights, and there is an undercity to Vaddapol. Metaphorically speaking, there are pit fights that you could go into if you're looking for extra money. Know that there is no honor in these pit fights. But then again, who needs honor?
And he smiles at Magnus.
Magnus doesn't stare at him.
The appropriate contacts for said things will be discussed at a later time, I suppose. So,
You wish to know who to contact to get into the pit fights?
well, I wish to know who to contact for all sorts of things.
Ironically, the commissar runs both the pit fights as well as the lawful arena. He is a very imposing man.
All right. And if I wished to satisfy proclivities,
Pardon? What proclivities?
all sorts.
You'll have to be more specific, Ashoka.
Extracurricular chemicals.
Vestra Erol, the skin painter, an elven witch that has been allowed by the Imperial Ministry of Arcana to practice her witchcraft here in the city, is not only the best magical tattoo creator, but she is known to be able to have and sell goods that sometimes are restricted. They turn a blind eye as she has touched most of the gladiator's flesh, and given them their brands and marks.
And if someone were to need to disappear, is there a trusted source for that sort of thing?
You've been here for an hour. Who could possibly need to disappear at this point?
I'd just like to know a little bit about where I am to feel at home.
We'll cross that bridge when you get here, he says. And her face paintings of My Little Pony are second to none. Strawberry shortcake for the win.
Friendship is magic.
Care Bear tattoos.
This is a weird shout out. If you like fighting games, there is a My Little Pony fighting game that is god tier. That's actually voiced by the actual team that did My Little
If
Pony.
you're looking for religious services amongst the old gods, seek out the Masked Oracle and the Society of Theologians. You will recognize them as they are the masked men and women that wander around the city. Their masks are rather elaborate. Whatever you do, do not cross Baroness Svet Havel, the Gavel. She is the overly zealous announcer in the Civic Arena. She holds a lot of sway. Sway in who lives or dies, sway in who gets to fight whom. As strict as you thought it may be, you'll see that Vaddapol has a lot of wiggle room. You'll learn who to bribe and who not to. Yes. Perhaps waiting till spring would be too long. Do you feel up for a few pit fights, Magnus?
What are the rules here?
The pit fights, there are no rules. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Magics, spells, casting.
No rules. Just money.
How do you tell who's stronger?
You
In
don't?
the arena, you've got blooded heroes.
The current
This-
champion, I have not paid attention. I don't know who that is. Something to consider, to whet your appetite.
Yeah, I'd like to know about it. It's likely to go and do it. See what the people are like.
It might be good to establish dominance early, although we probably should.
Any of you could go into the pits again. Desperate men. Desperate spellcasters in need of coin. I'm sure they would accept all and any. Perhaps apprentice. Although dangerous to wager with a life that must be spent in the arena.
Yes, it does not count officially.
Oh, here comes Akka now.
Here we go, Zach. Gotta show him the full picture.
Yeah, you liked Aka's picture, man?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, pretty cool.
There's Akka. Aka's like 6'6", tall, slender, lean. He's got, what does he fight with? 2 kukris?
Yeah.
Did I build him that way?
Yep.
He's a Kritzkrieg Ranger.
Kritzkrieg? Yeah, he's a double slicing, power attacking, strength 18 ranger. He's a skirmisher, so he gave up spells for ranger tricks, I think.
I think it's spells for feats, but
No, I think it's ranger tricks.
oh, okay.
Akka, this is Ashoka, your master.
His eyes go wide when he sees when he sees the snake man, and then just nods to you.
Ashoka nods back.
These two are also your masters. He is your martial master.
And Aka's just like, he can't understand Qued, so he's just points.
Magnus.
He gives you the eye like he wants to fight you.
Ashoka gives him like a shake of the head. No.
Okay, he lowers his head.
Get fucking killed.
And this is Phineas. He looks at Phineas and looks back over towards Ashoka. Come at me, bro.
I give don't kill Phineas. This is going to be the best bodyguard ever. Oh, Magnus, if you get him killed, I'm going to do stuff to you. I'm going to charm you and do stuff.
Yeah, he seems.
I'm gonna cast.
He doesn't say anything to all of you. He just wanders back over towards like a big barrel of water and like splashes some water in his face. He watches all the people coming in.
Ashoka is going to get a cup of wine.
Okay.
And he's going to bring it to Akka.
Looks at you, looks at the... He takes it. He sniffs it. He drinks it down. Drinks the whole thing in almost like one big gulp. Looks like he was going to throw the cup down, but then he handed it back to you.
Okay. Ashoka will just place the cup on the nearby surface.
Okay.
I'll give him a nod. We'll go back to the conversation.
All right, he goes over and he's just looking over, like he's sizing up all the people that are coming in here.
Oh, I like him.
You should be careful. Now.
Neutral awesome.
Neutral ewsome. Magnus gonna do a pit fight? Are you gonna send any of your gladiators to do pit fights?
No.
Okay.
No. Fucking 20th level character fucking like no. Fuck that. I want to see some.
We would like to go watch some pit fights.
Watch and learn.
Just to get a sense of what is the general level of the place, right?
Yeah, how crazy are these assholes?
All right, the group of you, Phineas, are you going to go watch pit fights? You're muted, Mark.
Last in the Weekend's fucking good movie.
With setting up his lab.
Okay.
You people handle the gladiators. I just handle their things. I'll just set up my lab and.
Yeah, Magnus is going to.
Forge around here. Where's the forge? Tools.
There's a large smokestack over there. I suppose the forge would go underneath. We might have to
That might
purchase
just
one.
be a chimney for a cooking station. That's not good.
Ashoka and Magnus are going to the pit fights. Are you bringing Akka with you?
First, I'll make sure the gladiators are settled, our gear, our guards, all that shit is settled. That's going to take us all night.
Yeah. I'm like
So-
time is
Time
passing.
passes.
So
I'll-
yeah, you
I'll bring
spend a
Akka
couple
with
of
me,
you spend a
but
couple of days.
Next morning, I have breakfast. I want
They're
cheese.
gladiator cornflakes. It's good. You're not on the box. You're sad. They're sad flakes. You eat your sad flakes. All right. So a couple days pass. Magnus, Ashoka, and Akka go to see the pit fights. The pit fights are insane. The crowd, the crowd seems to take the opportunity to wear like really grim clothing. There's everywhere from like masked nobles that are trying to hide the fact that they're there. They are screaming for blood. Every single bloody thing that happens, they are shrill for. There's lots of betting that is going on. The guy who is winning the fights, who is the current champion, is called the Barber because he scalps people and sticks them on his own bald head and pulls teeth from the victim. Sometimes they're not even dead yet when he goes down with the pliers on them.
I'm envisioning the guy from Gangs New York.
There is a priest of some terrible deity. This is not Hextor. And you notice that Akka gets excited and actually like yells something when the priest begins to speak. Here in the pits! Here in the pits! We give what the gods have demanded! We give it to them, regardless of the rules of the upper world. Here in the underworld, here in the pits, there are no rules, yet the destruction of flesh like the gods demand. People are going nuts, and some of them are chanting a god's name. I just need to find it.
Ooh, this will be good to know. Who are they chanting?
Chief among the gods of blood, the gods that demand sacrifice, the ones that... Greyhawk deities. The ones that punish us for forgetting this rule. The Imperium did not forget it. Arith, null, arith, null, arith, null, arith, null, 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 null.
Sounds like null is important.
The Barber strikes again! And you can see that he's got some sort of like a spike coming out of a gauntlet, and he punches one of these this other guy, this unfortunate man he's fighting with, and blood spurts everywhere. He goes to the ground into a crumpled heap, and the Barber like jumps on top of him, and now has got his whole like almost his whole hand inside the guy's mouth, wrenching his jaw open, and is now starting to wiggle teeth out. Everyone cheers when like a big molar is yanked from the guy's head, and he's raising it above his head. The guy's kind of screaming.
Are you looking for a token right now, or?
No, I'm not looking for a token.
I was
me
typing.
just
Oh, was you typing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was typing in the chat, sorry.
Rithno. You notice that Akka has joined in the chant with a Rithno. Rithno. Knowledge, religion.
Religions are those things you use to manipulate people, right? Int check?
Yeah, in check.
10. Sounds like a god name.
It seems like an evil god. Magnus, do you have knowledge religion?
Nope. Knowledge engineering, baby.
In check?
Nope. Hold on. Nope.
You got the same thing I did.
Arithno! Who will face the Barber? Who will spill their blood for the gods? And there's like a frantic amount of betting. The Barber's going to fight again. Apparently this is the third dude that is desperate enough. There's one guy, I will fight! Okay. And who are you?
If I was looking at the Barber, and I was using like a 6-second period that the water clock does for the beginning of a fight.
Yep.
How many times does he swing his sword?
Give me a bab check or a
Yeah, I want one of those.
yeah.
How much
A
damage
sense
is he
motive
dishing
or
out?
or you could use your sense motive ranks or
Or
bab.
the wisdom plus
Yeah.
bad. 17.
The barber probably has a bab of between 6 and 10. They seem to go up there. There's this big bloody bowl, and this priest of Erethnal, you're pretty sure he's some sort of priest, sticks his hand into the bowl and moves around and pulls out a token, and the token that he pulls out determines the weapon that each side gets.
Interesting. So they don't get the same weapon. They both get like a random weapon.
Yep.
Or a random weapon.
The
Is
barber.
he cheating this?
What's that?
Is he cheating on the select weapon selection thing?
Yeah, we'll say that he's not doing it, but somebody else is. Like one of his cultists is. Give me a sense motive.
Yeah, because this looks like something easily like it's full of a liquid you can't see through. It's really easy.
Yeah,
for me
it's
to-
a bunch of bloody like rune stones inside of a big bowl full of caked with blood.
14, but it's one of those like
It's hard to tell because no one really has the advantage this time, or at least you don't think so. For the barber gets 2 battle axes.
2 battle axes.
okay.
And the other guy gets a trident.
Yeah, 2 battle axes beats Trident every single day. But I think against Joe Schlubs they wouldn't cheat. But if Magnus went in there, Magnus is going to get a dagger and he'd get a battle axe. Or
You get a war parrot. Fuck you.
You get a sap. And
Yeah, and the guy is fighting. We'll see Schleb with the trident gets a 2 and a 4. Dude with the good bab gets a 5 and a 3. Oh yeah, like the fight goes.
he does wound him though. He gets wounded. The 4 beats the 3. Oh no, the 4 and a 2. No, never mind.
No, basically, he locks the trident up with one of the battle axes, and while it's on his offhand, it takes him a while, but he ends up slicing into him enough, but not so much that outright kills him. He falls down to the ground. He's like trying to get away as everyone's cheering. He drops one of the battle axes, grabs the guy by the scruff of the hair, and then scalps him. Scalps him
Does
while he's
anybody-
alive and screaming at the crowd. The crowd is going nuts. They're going,
Does anybody look like a caster in the crowd? Like, I'm not eyeing the crowd.
There are some people in robes, like the man who keeps on thrusting his hands into the bloody bowl to pick out the runes. There are robed people, and the robed people look like they have pouches around their neck. You're pretty certain that the metal chains that go into the pouches, they're merely hiding their holy symbol. And there's half a dozen of these people.
Okay.
There are also people not going nuts with the crowd. You could see there are not robed people that are taking bets.
Okay.
There are a lot of
Bookie types.
bookies, people taking bets, some people guarding those people, and it's packed. You're actually in the sewers, like it's underground when you went to this pit fight.
Are there any people that look like Imperial Guard type?
No. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
The scalping haircut reference. Nice.
29.
Yeah, you do see a guy who has an Imperial soldier brand on his sleeve, like on his arm. He's not in his uniform.
He's dressed
though.
up in like
And
something else.
he seems to be betting and enjoying the.
Okay.
He's with some very voluptuous looking woman. Could be a whore. Could be his woman.
Could be both.
Flat face.
Interesting.
I think Foxfire started with the other one.
Are there... So the commissar is not there. Or is...
The five-faced god is the name of the god. Iruthnul is the name of the god that seems to be at least having a priest of here. And here's a...
Yep.
the Oogie Boogie god of the Doogie. 50 Shades of God.
Iruthnul. Is there anyone else who needs a trim?
Nope. Need to know more. Want to know more?
Okay.
Magnus is studying this guy. Can we tell how hard he's hitting, or anything at all?
Yeah, you know he's got a BAB of 6.
Oh fuck. What about magic happening during or before?
There seems to be a little bit of like blessing going on, but no one seems to really care to even like fix the barber's wounds. He's still bleeding from a fight 2 fights ago. Will the barber fight again?
Bad of 6. We don't have haste.
The barber actually
We don't
says
have
no.
a good hope.
He will retire as our champion for the evening, but others step forward. And you notice that 2 people are being pushed out. They look like they're masters that are making 2 slaves fight. One of the slaves gets initially. One of the slaves had a jagged dagger, and the other one had like some spiked gauntlets. And the person with the dagger threw the dagger and hit the person, but didn't kill them. And then they came after the person. Let's see. We'll say disadvantage. But somehow managed to struggle them off. They both fell off the stage, and there was a swift crack from the one with the... And sometimes those that have the disadvantage come out on top. The gods are fickle, but they demand blood. Kill. The slave's looking as the person sort of passed out, and eventually he grabs the gauntlet still on the guy who passed out. Hand and starts bashing it into his neck. It's complete.
It's
like,
complete chaos.
Blood sport chaos.
It's far different from what we were seeing previously.
So this makes sense that the guy that got picked out of the pits who fought Magnus in the Palace of Legis
Came out of a place like this.
Came out of a place like this. Like that guy didn't look like he was going to yield or call for mercy or give mercy.
This is very...
One guy comes up to you. You look like a bit of a slayer. You can go and fight, if you want. Both of you. Are these your gladiators?
In good time. Not today. Not this evening.
They are not entering today, but yes, they are gladiators.
Ah, coming to see what the pits are all about. Welcome to the underworld. You fit right in.
Ashoka will smile and nod. Good to be here. He takes a big deep breath. It's invigorating.
All right, back at the ludus, Phineas.
Half the reason I took Akka with me is because I didn't want to figure out what Phineas and Akka would do while I was gone. I'll come back. Akka will be just gnawing on a Phineas leg.
You're the only master that is at home, Phineas, when there are people that have come to visit.
Okay.
I'm just going to drag Phineas to one of the conversation boxes. Let's see who comes to visit. Is it friendly or not? D3. 1 is not friendly. 2 or 3 is very friendly.
Please don't blow up our new house. Please don't blow up our new house. Please don't blow up our new house.
Somewhat neutral.
alchemist's go-to plan was people are breaking into the house and stealing stuff. Okay, I'm gonna rig my room to explode.
Okay, so Phineas, you had taken a moment. You were like the facilities. There's enough space to set up a forge and even a magical forge, but there and there's space for a library and there's space for an alchemy lab. The problem is that none of that stuff exists. It feels maybe that hundred talents is supposed to go towards you deciding what you need to be successful.
Okay.
But at one point you were kind of like you were working and you were trying to clean out the vent for the forge because you wanted to vent your lab properly, and you're a little bit dirty and you took a break from this, and you have slaves, so there's some slave that's helping you kind of clean up and that sort of thing. You're dipping your hands in water and you look down into the courtyard and you can see that there's some guy smoking a pipe. Actually, it's like a rolled cigarette, and you catch a little bit of light from him. And he's looking up at you. He's not part of your caravan.
Hi.
Evening.
Excuse me. What are you doing here?
Having a look.
This is private property.
Is it? Whose property is this?
It's the property of Lord Krakenstein.
No. That's not my understanding. You're all tenants here. This is the property of Duke Drago.
No, that's not my understanding.
This
Which
is
means
his
you
city.
got it wrong.
This is his duchy. I was just having a look. Curious about the newcomers.
Well, you've had your look. On your way.
Which one are you?
I am the wizard.
What rank? You know that wizards rank each other by the highest class of spell that they can cast.
At this time, I am a mere rank 2, however, best to keep in mind I am also an Imperial Alchemist.
Interesting. You're both. You didn't want to choose one or the other?
No, I was quite gifted and capable of specializing in both. So I did.
Good on you.
And you are, seeing as you're making yourself at home.
I'm just going to finish my smoke. You can call me Brannick.
Well, Brannick. You work for the Duke, I take it?
Yeah. I'm Chamberlain.
Well.
I look after the Corda family.
Oh, well, I have a Chamberlain of my own probably around here. You! He points at one of the servants.
Yeah, servants are slaves. The guy jumps when you yell at him, like, what do you want, master?
Chamberlain Brannick here would like some tea, coffee, some wine.
Nah, I'm done. He tosses his butt down.
Oh, pity. So few people to speak to aside from the snake man, but he's a snake man, so you can't really trust what he says, you know.
All this. Is that you?
Yes.
Are they magic?
No. It's just a hobby of mine. Though I am studying.
Oh. Keep practicing.
Yes, I believe I believe there's a way to not just create permanent tattoos, but using alchemy,
He
create
listens.
temporary ones.
Any progress in that?
It's a work in progress. You'll see come spring. He smiles.
Yeah. Come spring.
Well, cross my fingers.
Good evening to you then, Phineas.
And to you, and please give our best to the Duke.
Nods. Creepy dude just slips out of the gate, which he realizes is open.
Now he berates a servant for leaving, or a slave for leaving.
I'm not in charge of the gate.
You're in charge of the gate now!
All right.
I will firebomb you! I swear it! He is an awful, awful person.
All right. Phineas and Ashoka, Aka, and Magnus return from the pits. There's some sad-looking servants sitting by the gate where there's two guards. They're like, what's he doing here?
And periodically he walks by and just tugs on the gate to make sure it's closed. Just to make sure that guy knows I'm looking at you. I'm watching you.
All right, you torment your slaves a bit. We now know what kind of master Phineas is. Yeah.
As long as nobody's physically impressive, or what the.
Aka, you feed him wine and you show him delights of destruction. He's happy. He could tell that he's gonna like this kind of place.
Magnus,
Awful evil, huh?
take care of this one. I will be very displeased if he becomes damaged.
You fuck talk to me like you owe me crazy. I'll beat your face. I'm not gonna beat your face. I'm kidding, Ashoka.
Okay, eventually we will create a map of the ludus.
I was
The
actually
ludus,
itching to
the
fight
ludus has
them.
a common area for the gladiators, but they also have individual cells that can hold maybe 2 to 4 gladiators that can be locked if the gladiators are like hostile. And there is a under dungeon where Sir Prentice Pennywise is kept.
Ashoka inspects the underdungeon.
Okay, there's plenty of room in here to have an interrogation room, although you haven't spent the money on those types of things yet.
Magnus, could you give me a hand?
Yeah, give me a minute.
All
Why the
right.
fuck are you sitting by the gate? What's wrong with you? Yeah. There's a request, Marty.
Oh,
Anyways, yeah. Would you?
So,
What is it?
he
What is
wants
it?
some
What do you
gifts.
need?
I need you to go into this room. Count to 10. He's just looking for a second to make certain that 10 is not too high. He doesn't say that. He's just thinking that. And then I would like for you to yell as loud as you can. And then he goes upstairs and he closes the doors. And he's listening to see if he can hear Magnus yelling really loud.
Why didn't you? Hey, you fucking stupid bastard! Yeah, Magnus
No,
goes
how-
in there. He's not. Yeah, he's yelling. He's yelling. Hey, asshole!
There's no sound.
Perfect.
In the cellar of where the master size are, it's probably good places to store food and wine. Then there's a kitchen, which also may serve as a laboratory area where it's close to the same sort of source of heat for the kitchen. There is a place to receive or kind of like mud rooms and that sort of thing. And then the upper floor is where the bed chambers are, as well as some places to entertain guests that overlook the training courtyard where all the gladiators will be. Of course, you don't have many gladiators at this point in time, and
No.
I think now is a good time for you to start to spend some of your money.
One sec. Magnus goes up. Yeah, hey, Ashoka, I'm not sure if you heard me or not, but I said, hey, you fucking asshole! I'm right here! Did you get that?
Yes, Magnus, I got that.
Just making sure. Just making sure, alright.
Magnus, why don't you make a list of things you'll need for training? I'm sure one of the other slaves can write it down for you.
Okay, so facilities for this game, we're going to treat them like dice to do things with.
Okay.
Okay.
So a 1-point arcane facility will have a single die to roll, or a 1-point healing facility will have a single die to roll.
Funny.
Each to raise a facility to 1 cost 1 talent. To raise it to 2 cost 2 talents. To raise it to 3 cost 3 talents.
So it's if you want a +2
to
facility,
raise it-
it's 3,000.
That's right.